Despite what their moms told them, they just aren't talented enough for radio. Unfortunately, anyone can have a show these days. Sean.
Well, I'm pretty hard to figure out sometimes. In fact, I can't even figure myself out sometimes, so don't you try to.
Joe.
You're an idiot and really a disloyal person.
This is the Cuse Militia. Now, those two unapologetically biased orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
It's the most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
Welcome, orange men and ladies. Happy Sunday. This is the Cuse Militia with Sean and Joe for the Believe Entertainment Network at Cuse Militia on the socials. Go there, join the militia. We're back to talk a little bit of basketball. I'm sure everybody's super excited, as we are as well. A loss to Miami and a loss to North Carolina. Long pause for effect, just to soak it in after all of the crap I've spoke about Miami pretty much the whole year. Miami 2-11. Wait, what are they now? What are they now? They're first of all, they're dead last in the ACC. 2-12 after losing to Pitt yesterday. So, yeah, lucky us.
Yeah, that's welcome back to the 10th version of this podcast.
Yeah, and shooting 94% from the free throw line, losing against Miami, shooting 90% from the free throw line against North Carolina, losing again. North Carolina comes into the game shooting 32% from behind the arc, and of course, they go ahead and shoot 46.4% from behind the arc to just make it that much more impossible for a team that just cannot seem to get out of their own way most times. A totally winnable game both nights. They could have just as easily won both of these games as they did lose them. Some poor decision making in the final moments of last night's game against North Carolina, and just some confusing lapses. Letting a lot of time off the clock, passing the ball around like a hot potato at the end of this thing. Kyle Cuff's three in desperation when... probably maybe could have, would have, should have had a better game plan. I don't know. I'm not a coach. But they go ahead and they shoot like crap from behind the arc, right? So, and then North Carolina goes off. But still, the free throws are good, I guess. J.J. Starling, he's like 18 for 19, or something like that, through the past two games. And then Eddie Lampkin Jr. hits 8 out of 9 free throws yesterday. You told me he was going to do that. I would have told you you're a damned liar. His third double-double in a row. I lost track of how many double-doubles he has on the season. 11, 12, something like that. I don't know. But just a guy that goes out and does his thing every day, every game. And I believe he was quoted as saying something along the lines of, hey, I probably have 5 games left in my collegiate career, and I'm going to go out there and try to win them all. And, this thing's looking grim at this point. I think they make the ACC tournament. However, it's not as possible as it was the last time we spoke. And that's just that. I mean, we're tied with California for 14th place, right? So there's 5 games left. NC State has a chance. Well, I mean, they all technically have a chance to surpass Syracuse's five wins, with NC State with 3 and Boston College and Miami both with 2. So it's possible Syracuse just takes a big dump in their pants and they don't even make the ACC tournament. At this point, it's for me, it's like, okay, how many losses can you avoid for the last 5 games? That's the game we play now. Now you're playing for just to say, this is how I feel, by the way. This is not necessarily true mathematically. You're playing for pride You're playing for to show people that you haven't given up. Yesterday's game showed me they have not given up, and you're just kind of window dressing at this point. Every W is just a little bit of window dressing to ease the pain. This is going to be the worst season Syracuse basketball has had since 1968, before they were in a conference. That was a long time ago, according to my math.
Yeah.
So the 68-69 season, right? So the year.
Yeah, I mean, there's reasons too, right?
There's reasons to what?
We can sit here. Well, we can speak to some reasons why this season is the way that it is.
Sure.
But then at this point, they would really just be excuses, right? Because I mean, we've just seen it. It's just been the same thing over and over again. We have 7 games where, it was the 7 points or less, right? I mean, 5 of those were within 5-point games. Like we've been in so many games. And that's not even counting, the Stanford game that we pretty much outplayed them after the first 10 minutes. And I mean, we've shot ourselves in the foot over and over again, whether it be turnovers, whether it be free throws, whether it be just crap shots, injuries. I still wish that we would have been able to see Donnie Freeman mature through a whole season, because normally those 5-star guys, they get better near the end. But it's just, yesterday was just another example of just what really the biggest issue is. And to me, that's situational awareness, man. I mean, we've talked about effort. We've talked about, it's just, there's no cohesion.
There's no game plan down the stretch last night.
But again, is it a game plans, or is it because it's one of two things? Either the coach they're taking timeouts and the coach is literally not saying anything or coming up with any game plans, and just he's assuming that these kids are going to make the right play, or he's literally in there making the game plan and they go in and they don't do what he asked them to do. Because that's what it looked like to me.
Do you really think that with a team like this, you wouldn't need to coach the final seconds of a game? That you would just trust them to do what they need to do to win? I mean, I'm not opposed to that. However, Eddie Lampkin plays a pretty good game all the way through. I think he turned the ball over twice. Well,
no, I mean, that's my point, right? Is, again, it's the situational awareness. It's Eddie Lampkin was dominating down low. We got within a certain amount of points, and he's backing his guy in, and instead of doing what he did the last 2, 3, 4 possessions or whatever, he throws it all the way across court over Carlos's head, right? It's one of those things where, and then you look at the coach, and it's like, you have to think, like, you look at the way that Adrian Autry, after the Kyle Cuff shot and after Eddie Lampkin threw that away, he's reacting like a coach that literally just told them to do something, and they turn around and did something completely the opposite thing and just messed it up. That's what it looked like to me.
Well,
that's what it looked like to me.
I don't.
You're down 4 or 5 points, a couple possessions. Eddie Lampkin's killing it. He wants Eddie to take it to the hoop, and then Eddie does something like that. Like, he throws it out there like Carlos is going to catch it and throw and shoot a 3 anyway, right? It's not going to happen. And then Kyle Cuff, we're down 4 points. You really think that he told Kyle Cuff to shoot a 3, that he told his team that we needed a 3?
I was just going to say that.
Go to the damn rim and at least try to get fouled to try to do something.
Eddie Lampkin had 26 points. There's no reason not to give him the ball in that situation. He was dominating the whole game down there. The game plan was definitely not for Kyle Cuff to chuck up a 3, and the game plan was definitely not for Eddie Lampkin to kick it back out to Jaquan Carlos for a corner 3.
Right, and you don't think that the coaches were telling these guys, hey, we're down 5.
I mean, you would think so. You would think so.
We're down 5 or 6. There's 12 seconds. We need to put up a shot real quick, not pass it around 3 times. Chris Bell taking a pump fake and then dribbling to the corner. Well,
you got Mistorovich out at the top, and the ball should never even get into his hands, in my opinion. That's like you said. That was the sequence where there was 3 passes before it even got to Eddie Lampkin. I think that's when he threw it away. That's just too much time.
I mean, I mean, there was that, but I mean, really at the end too. I mean, and at that point you're down, 5, 6. You need to make a 3, and then foul them, hope they miss, and then you might have a couple seconds to get a shot. But I mean, even with that, like there was zero sense of urgency. Like it didn't look like Chris Bell. I mean, he literally took the shot on the baseline down 6, a 2-pointer as the buzzer went off. And we basically ran off the 12 or 9 seconds or whatever that was. I mean, there's just no awareness whatsoever. Like, how do you not know you're down 2 possessions and you need to shoot a 3 as soon as possible?
I mean, you got me. I know.
And it's hard for me to not think that the coaches aren't sitting there yelling and telling these people this. You know, it's hard for me to believe that the coaches aren't sitting there telling them, hey, don't leave Jackson open because he's their best 3-point shooter. And then we leave him wide open.
Or don't foul RJ Davis at the end of the game. They let the ball get into his hands, which was a mistake.
Yeah. When you're down 4 and there's still plenty of time, around a minute or something like that, and you run the clock down to 10 seconds and they only have 10 seconds to shoot, and then you foul him, and then he goes to the free throw line. Like, there's a lot of basic, like, first off, that stuff, again, coaches are going to regurgitate that stuff. But realistically, like, if you're a player that's in the game and you're literally like focused and that's just your number one goal, and you have any type of situational awareness, you already know these things. Like, that's stuff that you learn early in competitive situations when you're talking about even in school basketball. You got to know the time situation, how many damn timeouts you have, who's got the possession arrow, what the score is, what's the shot clock at. Like, there's all stuff that you, at a young age, especially at that high of a competitive level, should be in tune with. And you shouldn't have to have the coaches over and over. And again, they'll still do it, which just blows my mind as to why you have coaches that sit there and tell these players obvious things about the game of basketball that you should already know. And we still don't do it. And I don't understand why. It almost just seems like sometimes it seems like it's one of those things, where you have like a kid that acts out with their parent, and their parent tells them to do something, and they just decide that they're going to go rogue and do whatever they want.
Because they think they know better. Because they think that they think that, what they're going to do is going to benefit better than what they were told.
I mean, that's almost like what it seems like, because I that's the look, like the looks that I see from Adrian Autry on some of those damn plays is literally like a look from a damn just a very, very just upset father, a disappointed father that's like, I told you to do this and you went ahead and you did that crap. You know what I mean? Like, that's almost like what it looks like. So I don't know. It's just I tried to talk in and speak into existence some positive stuff, and possibly being able to, go on a run and, be able to beat Miami, Boston College. And, obviously I thought that we were, good enough to beat North Carolina. And I tried to speak some of that into existence last podcast. And all it really did was we saw 2 games that just are par for the course for the season.
It's just crazy because the game came down to not defending the 3-point line for the most part. I mean, the numbers for Syracuse were pretty good. I mean, other than like bench points, you're looking at they did everything they needed to do. They led in rebounds, points in the paint. They fast break points off of turnovers. Fast break points was 11-10 for North Carolina. So, I mean, it's like they did all of the things. They really did. The field goal percentage was 44%. I mean, it's not great, but, like Coach said, they haven't had a problem scoring, which...
Still some bad shot selection, though.
They could
North
be
Carolina
a whole lot.
did have 8 blocks, so...
Yeah, they could have been a whole lot better. Right, yeah, 8 blocks. This is just stupid. So... Anyway, I had a montage. I don't even know if it's worth playing, and the only reason I say that is because there's not like a whole lot of honesty in it. I'm you know what I'm saying? It's like we could have played, other than specifics, stats and names. We could have played a montage from 3 weeks ago. and gotten out of it what I got out of the one last night.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's all kind of the same now at this point, right? Everything's just bleeding into because it's just the same. I don't know.
And it's I think it was Noon's Magician that they had a pretty clever tweet, and I'm assuming they came up with it. It said, I think it was in regard to. I'm trying to go through this. I think, by the way, Syracuse lacrosse started off so amazing, and they're still going to be awesome. But to lose against Maryland yesterday after leading at the half is just totally disappointing. It really was. It's upsetting. So being ranked second.
Yeah.
There was a Noon's Magician. I believe it was Noon's. They put out a press conference bingo card. And it was like, all of the things that we've been hearing from Coach in the press conferences. And it's just funny to me because we've talked about it. And, they put some, or somebody puts, I'm on their Twitter page right now and I can't find it. So I don't even know if it was them. So I'll never find it. I should have took a damn screenshot of it. I'm an idiot. But it was, it was things like, we got to stop turning the ball over. It's like things you would hear in the press conference and bingo card, which it was pretty clever. And it's just to our point that, it's almost impossible to go through a press conference anymore and get anything out of it because it's just platitudes. And, it's unfortunate because we were spoiled with Boeheim to a point. I mean, there was things that he hid, some information he hid. But, I mean, I just want to see raw emotion. I want, like, Fran Brown-esque. Did you tell him to? Did you have a game plan together at the end of the game? Did they just not listen to you? Like it would be interesting to know those things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're not ever gonna. Yeah.
I know, but I'm just saying. Anyway, I had the montage. I decided real time that we're gonna ixnay the montage because there's no point in playing it. Okay, he's upset.
Yeah, it's all the same.
He's upset. We got to do better. Gonna look at tape. Gonna see what we need to do to be better.
Orange Fizz did it.
Orange Fizz. Okay, you have it?
Yeah.
Okay, read it.
They got what the top was. This isn't Syracuse basketball. We aren't at the orange standard.
Okay.
The defense wasn't there. We'll get better.
We'll get better. We heard that.
Yeah. We need to limit turnovers.
Yeah, well, we did. He did mention turnovers, but turnovers weren't terrible last night. So
no, they weren't bad. No. I like the shots we took.
Yeah.
And what rebounding needs to improve.
Yeah, which was good last night. So the bingo card not really too relevant last night, which is why, to my point, which is why.
Well, last one, Miami is a really good team.
Oh, was that for Miami? Okay.
Yeah.
Miami's a really good team. That's funny. That is funny. Very clever. I love it. Well, what made you go to Orange Fizz? I didn't even think about that. I was like, I just assumed it had to be Noons because they have those types of posts. But anyway, okay. Well, good on them. Very clever. So,
yes.
I don't know. I guess going forward, like I said, you want to win to show that you're still fighting, that you still have pride, and at this point though, I don't know if it means much. You could sit here and say, well, Syracuse still has a shot to get to the ACC tournament and make a run. It's not going to happen. Okay, I'd bet anything on it. It's not going to happen. It's just not the team. This is not the team. Okay, so we'll
get better.
We'll get this year.
Maybe.
Miami's a really good team. Golly. In the Miami game too, man. I can't just gloss over this Miami game, dude. I really can't, because and I know Matthew Cleveland's on a tear, but 32 points?
And it was efficient.
32 points, bro? 10 for 13.
Yep.
You know, I don't know, man. You sent him to the line 12 times. You got it. Situational, like you said, dude. Situational awareness. Like, the one guy. Yeah, can someone else step up? Yeah, someone else could step up. But I mean, you got one guy running that team right now.
Yeah, there's a couple guys that stepped up and hit some shots.
There were, but I mean, Matthew Cleveland he's been the guy of the past few games. Like he's the one that's trying to will this team to victory every game now.
Oh yeah,
because wasn't he injured for a little bit?
No, Nigel Pack's injured.
Oh,
Nigel out for the season. That's one of the reasons why they're not as good right now.
I just assumed Nigel Pack went to the NBA.
Oh no, he was there this year. I think he played first 4 or 7 games or something like that, and he got hurt.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So, but like you said, situational awareness, right? I mean, Miami played against Pittsburgh yesterday. Pittsburgh won the game, and Matthew Cleveland had 8 points, 4 of 16 shooting.
That's how you beat him. You can't let him go off for 32 points. 10 for 13 from the field.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, we can sit here and analyze it. You all saw the game. You understand what's going on. So, well, let's head over to Twitter real quick. We'll hit a couple of these up. We'll end with a tiny bit of football news, and then we'll call it a day. So, just real quick, though, for the record, at Pitt on Tuesday, and then we have a week off. So, and he'll be hosting NC State 8 days off. Well, a week off. Be hosting NC State on Wednesday, February 26th. So, an NC State team that's,
not great.
Not great. And if you're going to beat a team, the not great ones are your best chance.
I don't know, man. NC State's a really good team.
NC State's a really good team. And then you got Virginia Tech. Those are winnable games. Pittsburgh has struggled. Syracuse struggles at Pitt. Just historically, they just struggle at Pitt. So, I mean, these are three winnable games. These are 3 winnable games coming up. They really are. Talk about SMU and Virginia. I mean, dude, if they got their shit in the gear, they could probably win all these games. I mean, this isn't the same Virginia Cavaliers team either.
I'm not counting SMU.
I'm not either. I mean, they're what, 5th in the ACC right now. So, yeah, I wouldn't either. But I mean, they could take 4 of them. I wouldn't count Pitt either, just because it's Pitt. Just because I want to win that one. I look at the slate of games for the year, and I'm like, okay. Obviously, I want Georgetown. Obviously, Duke's out of our league. I didn't even think about it. It's like, whatever. And then my Notre Dames, my Boston Colleges, my Pittsburghs. Those are the games I want. Badly. And UNC, because it was at home.
Damn.
So, anyway.
About 8 or 9 on Facebook as well.
Yeah, so this isn't the by the way, it is well documented that the fan base is disengaged. Although the crowds at the dome has been decent, the fan base is largely disengaged. I'm shocked that we're getting those kinds of crowds still at the dome.
There's nothing else to do.
What's that?
Nothing else to do in Syracuse.
Oh yeah, there's that. By the way, I think Syracuse got Friday they got 8. I think my mother-in-law said they got 8 inches of snow. And my cousin lives in Central Square.
Oh yeah,
dude, 4 feet of snow in 12 hours.
I heard it was bad. Yeah,
it's bad. That's bad, dude.
Yeah. I mean, look, people get season tickets. A lot of those people that we see around the basket and stuff, a lot of those are corporate, seats and tickets, and even people that work at the the university. So people are still going to go, right? But, we talked to, Waterboy hits us up every once in a while about, the price of tickets and stuff like that. And I mean, currently it's cheaper to go to a Syracuse basketball game than it is to go to the movies. So, yeah, I can understand why people are still going, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it's a today's day and age, it's a good event to bring the whole family to. You're paying more for beer and food than anything. So, okay, let's head to Twitter. This did not make the rounds as well as I would have hoped, but we've got a couple, and literally a couple. I didn't even get double digits on Twitter. So, at Oil Cuse, can we fire him yet? Just start with that one. Get it out of the way. At Theo Cuse, I actually enjoyed the game. I've grown fond of Lampkin and his efforts. Starling too. Bell, however, is flat out weird. He just stood there and watched UNC players go to the rim and get loose balls. Feel bad for Coach Red. Those are two different dynamics right there.
Damn. Talk about Chris Bell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's always been fringy, just disengaged. And its body language is he wears it on his sleeve. It's not like he's trying to hide it. I don't know. He got 18 minutes yesterday too. I mean, I don't know. It's just it's a weird one.
Yeah, I got one about Chris Bell too.
Yeah, I mean, 3 rebounds and 3 points.
And you had the one where he didn't even rush. I mean, I know it was near the end, and he just kind of didn't go after the ball. I don't know. I know Nadal on Facebook, he basically said, to kind of piggyback what you were just saying, sorry, but I don't want Chris Bell back next year. No more head cases or zero effort players, please. Just players who enjoy playing the effing game. And Mahir commented and said, 100% agree. I wanted him back because he has so much potential in his skill set to make it to the league, but he never moves on offense, allergic to rebounding, constantly complaining. I'm sick of it. So that's where the fan base is with him at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we've been there. I mean, not that we've been there like the whole time, but we've tried to give him the benefit of the doubt a lot, and like we're kind of bounced back and forth between Bell saved the day and Bell's body language sucks. So, yeah, it's been a constant struggle. It's like, yeah. At Joe Catskill, it was competitive, but once again, Cuse just didn't play well enough to win. Seems to happen a lot this season. Lampkin is a beast. What a game he played. Go Orange. So, yeah, they tied it 60-60, right? And then like I blinked, and they were down by 8.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like that late in the game, and then 82-80. And again, it's like they couldn't get any stops all of a sudden, and they stayed competitive. I mean, like Starling, there was 2 like beautiful layups. One that he got fouled on, and
yeah, I'll say that I think that there's a lot of fouls. I don't think it got called last night as far as him driving to the hoop. But
well, I mean, I would agree, but I mean, yeah, but that's kind of a moot point this year in a way, a little bit. We haven't complained about the refs a lot because we've just been so bad.
Well, that, and we're just bad at free throws, so we can't even sit here and talk like it's a guaranteed point anyway, right?
Yeah, right.
Does it really matter other than getting people in foul trouble?
I mean, 2 people were disqualified on UNC's team yesterday for fouled out. So, I mean, it's not like they weren't calling anything. But, however, like you're right. You know, we're not going to sit here and talk about free throws when they just started shooting good from the line the past 2 games.
Yeah.
You know?
I like the shots we took. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
At Cuse, MJ1. Jaquan Carlos cannot play for Syracuse to have any chance to win. At Mike S748555165. Best played game of the year. Played hard, rebounded, shot well, in it all the way. Did not feel like Red's style of coaching late in the game when he embarrassed Cuff and Peter Mastorovich for making mistakes. Carlos cannot make stops on D. Huge liability late in the game. They win 2 more and done. So that's his prediction. 2 more wins.
I got stuff like that too. Carlos can't guard.
I think we covered the whole I don't like Red's style of coaching thing because we could probably make an argument that if he was coaching down the stretch, he didn't say what they did. Like, what they did could not have been in the game plan. Because even I could coach better than that. So that was not part of the game plan. So I don't know. If they don't execute what they're supposed to be executing, you can't blame Autry for that.
Well, yeah. And realistically, I feel like he has all the... It's not a good look, right? But at the end of the day, he has all of the right to be able to be upset at people, that, especially like I said, if I'm a coach, you're trying to win games, that's his livelihood. That's him. He feeds his family that way, right? Like, and he's trying to win games and trying to, do the right thing by, the university, the school, the players, the fans, everything. And you're in a timeout and you draw up some type of play and then a guy wants to go there and just completely just take a crap shot. Then yeah, I think he's got all the right in the world to react like that and show his player up like that.
Yeah, I think that when you play at this level, everybody's watching the game and you should be held accountable. I mean, Coach Boeheim did it plenty, right? He used to call people out all the time. So it's nothing new. These are young adults, but adults nonetheless. And this is the real world. You're blessed enough to be playing at this level, and with that comes accountability, and that accountability should come from your coach. Not everything should always just be done in private. I think that it's fine. There's a press conference after every game, and that is time to talk about the game and the individuals in the game. I don't see anything wrong with it. At Mosey21, I think Coach has to go. The team has too much talent individually, but they don't work well together. They need better leadership. At Mark Surgeon, too many mistakes down the stretch per usual. Red gives the wrong guys too much run. Same sad story week after week.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, it's getting tough to... This is the time of year, by the way. This is the time of year where we... there is legitimate complaints. They're just all the same. And that's what legitifies them, honestly. Like, if they were all different, I'd be like, well, what one thing is it? So there's everybody has a right to be a little upset. We said early on too that there's a lot of talent individually on this team. They just haven't put it together yet. Well, it never really got better. We did spend 7 games with Starling out. Donnie Freeman's been out forever now, and he's not going to be back. So there was a lot of adversity to this year. I don't know because he comes back next year.
No, I know. I get that. To me, it's consistency more than anything, right?
Well, yeah, they are consistent though. You know what I'm saying? They're consistently they're pretty consistent with their turnovers. They're pretty consistent with their free throws.
Yeah, I think I just mean individual performances,
That's been a struggle for how long, man?
Well, that's my thing, right? I mean, obviously, JJ, he's had some bad games because everybody just focuses on him. But for the most part, he's been doing his thing. Lampkin, pretty much ever since he got past that back issue or whatever was going on early, he did have some good games early, but he's pretty much been a key cog. But other than that, Like some games you see Jair Davis go off, and then other games like yesterday it seems like he's just disappears, right? And we've seen Chris Bell go off, and then there's been other times where he don't even look like he's engaged on the bench, and he plays less than 10 minutes. Lucas Taylor has made shots and looked like he'd be able to step up and be an offensive. It's all those other role players. Like there's no consistency with that outside of Lampkin and outside of JJ. There's just no consistency.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And who do you retain for next year? Are you done? First of all, are you done with your fan feedback? You're good, right?
Let me just go real quick. Jake, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome is the definition of what? I keep watching and expecting a win or at least some level of improvement. Apparently, I'm insane.
Didn't we cover that last episode?
Yeah.
Did we say that? Yeah.
Something like that, yeah. John, in about 6 weeks, the hype train will begin about how good a team we will have next season. 2 games into next season, we will realize we were sold a bundle of goods that don't perform to what we were sold. He's already looking at it next year. Mark, their season is done. That's my thoughts. Tim, Carlos can't guard, and Steve Maley, mediocre team coached by a poor coach, no defense, zone worked a bit, but looked like more practice is needed. Substitution pattern. Why was Carlos in at the end? So, per the usual, just the comments beating up on the coach and Chris Bell and Jake Juan Carlos.
What kind of retention do we have after this year? Do we keep Starling? I mean, I think so because he's home. I feel like,
Does he have another season?
I think so, yeah. Yeah. Most positive. He's a junior. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, he's got one more season. I think the whole COVID thing is done with. So
what times we said that?
Well, no, I think by my math it's done with. I think so. I think it is. Cuz you got to think, when was it? 2020, right? So we're in 2025 now. So this should be done.
It should be.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But do you retain Starling?
It'll be the bird flu now.
Oh yeah, great. It's JT. I think JJ Starling stays. Donnie Freeman. Where has he been on the bench or anything? I haven't seen him. Like, I understand he's injured and everything, but I mean, injured people tend to travel with the team sometimes and stuff.
I saw him basically up until the point where, and again, people are going to read into this and everything, but I believe it was a situation where they were trying to figure out if he's going to be able to come back and play this season and kind of go through the injury, or if they should just go ahead and get surgery and knock it out. So he was on the bench with that walking boot, but ever since they made that decision, I feel like he just hasn't been there because I feel like he actually got surgery. Finally got surgery. So yeah.
Well, that's possible.
And I would definitely want to retain him, obviously, in the next year. Yes.
Well, sure. So it's those two guys, really. I mean, if I'm being honest, there's, as far as who we would see as a starter next year, they need a center. They need another point guard, right? So they need a center. So those are going to be transfer portal options, and right. I think. Obviously, Syracuse is working off of a smaller kitty than most schools. I think it's around $2 million for NIL, and I believe that's for both, obviously football and basketball. Whereas some of these bigger programs, they're way over that, double if not more. And until Syracuse can put enough money in that kitty to help get people here, I think that the football program's going to be okay, but I think the basketball program's going to struggle. So,
we got guys coming in, and I mean, I feel like obviously there's going to be the whole Chris Bell thing, right? And then again, when you talk about retention, I'm pretty sure everybody else is gone. I mean, the Eddie Lampkin, Lucas Taylor, Jake Juan Carlos, and Jair Davis, I believe those all are going to be seniors. So, I mean, you're still going to have Kyle Cuff if he wants to stay. And then obviously,
right?
Yeah, Mastorovich, Elijah Moore, JJ Starling, Chance Westry, Donnie Freeman. I mean, decent. To me, that's kind of a decent foundation. And obviously we have, top 15 guy coming in, with Carmelo's son coming in as well. I believe we still have like a top 10 or top 15 recruiting class next year. Right now, I think there's still 4 guys. So it's all just going to depend on what those guys can do. And then, of course, we're probably going to have, 1 or 2, 3 guys, they have to come into the transfer portal, and it's got to make sure that we get the right ones, that we hit on that,
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Pitt too, and regarding the show in general.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then they got a week off, like I said.
Yeah. By the way, shame on the damn reporters by not bringing up anything Chance Westry wise, because we know that he came in and it wasn't like he was blowing the world up, but it seemed like he was going to be able to maybe get in there and maybe grow into having some type of role off the bench, and he's back in street clothes and not playing. So, well,
we were super excited about Chance Westry when we originally had that happen as a transfer, and then it's been he was out a year, and he was out last year, and this is year 3 where he hasn't really played any basketball.
Right.
He was a big name at one point.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Where'd he come from? Kansas?
Auburn.
Yeah. Okay. So for being a Syracuse fan and knowing who Chance Westry was, not really up on the Auburn basketball thing. I mean, that's kind of a big deal. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, all right. Just real quick, finish with some football stuff. So those invited to the combine, five players from this past year's Syracuse football team. Fadil Diggs, Aronde Gadsden, obviously. Kyle McCord, Elijah Clark. I was surprised by LaQuinton Allen, but not surprised by LaQuinton Allen. Like, I feel like that could have went either way. But I was surprised, however, by Jackson Meeks and Marlo Wax not getting an invite. So, I don't know. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be surprised by that. Maybe I was too high on them. I mean, Justin Barron, too. That one doesn't, totally surprise me, although Justin Barron's a dog, dude. I don't know who would not want him on their team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I get that portion of it, but when you talk about the combine, you're talking, they have a specific amount that they only have so many different position players and all that stuff that they can send invites out there for. So it's not one of those situations where just because you don't go to the combine doesn't mean that you're not going to get drafted, right? And honestly, too, I mean, we have our own pro day, which I feel like there's going to be a lot of hype when it comes to that, because you're talking about you're still going to have all those guys that go to the combine, plus all the guys that you mentioned, right? And we're going to do that in Syracuse, and then obviously the NFL representatives they can go there if they'd like, and I'd be willing to bet that there's probably going to be a representative from every damn team that's going to be at that pro day. So we brought it up before that this draft is probably going to be one of the better drafts for Syracuse in quite a long time. And it's what gets me a little hyped about it is that normally if you do get invited to the combine, then you're most likely talking about getting drafted in the first 5 rounds, 4 rounds, something like that, and obviously you can fall and then people can climb and, there's all that stuff. So, but just being able to get those amount of invites just to be able to get that type of attention, because, at the combine, there are ridiculous. I mean, you're talking GMs, presidents, and there's a ridiculous amount of representatives from all NFL teams, and for them to be able to go there and see 5 Syracuse helmets, it's just proof that there's something good's going on up in Syracuse, and that Fran Brown's got us on the right track. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
No? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't expect it. It's not going to be a situation where we're going to have somebody get drafted in the first round, most likely, But I think that we'll get a couple on day 2, second, third round. And then I think we're going to get a nice little handful on that last day when you're talking about, rounds 4 through 7. So.
Yeah, the draft, not like it doesn't. I love seeing our guys drafted, obviously, but it's not something it's not like people, man. So there's some people who just put it on and they just watch all day. Like, I can't do that. It's so drawn out. You know what I mean? Like, does it need to take all day? Does day 1 need to only cover 1 round? You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
Can we?
I mean, at least they break it up now, right?
Yeah. I mean, it needs to be sped up some way. It's not efficient.
It has been sped up. It used to be way worse, dude.
I don't remember.
You don't?
Not really. I always remember this because honestly, Joe, this time, I just am disengaged from it. I've never been someone who was like, oh, I can't wait for the draft. I can't wait to sit down and watch this draft. I don't.
Okay. Yeah. I sadly have been. So, yeah. But I remember a day when it was all day Saturday, all day Sunday.
For round 1?
No, I mean, for all of them. But I'm talking, it was going like noon to like 9 o'clock. It would be a 9-hour thing. And the first round, I think every team got like 15 minutes to make a pick. So you'd go an hour and there'd only be like 4 picks.
So where are we at now? What's the clock?
10 minutes in the first round. And they do just the first round on Friday night. I believe it's Friday night. Yeah. Or is it third? Yeah. And then Saturday they do second and third round. And then Sunday they do 4th through 7th. But I remember it back in the day, it used to be an all weekend event. So it's definitely sped up, but I still think it's definitely still more drawn out than what it needs to be for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my team drafted Jamarcus Russell at one point. So like, it's just, I don't care. I've been jaded, but sports has jaded me about sports. Like, it's their own fault. They did it to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's their own fault. It's the organizations. It's the overseeing bodies. It's some of the players. They all did it to me. It's not my fault. I'm really not easily jaded or totally cynical, although I have it in me. I'm just, it's life experience has made me this way. So I'm not taking any of the blame. But anyway, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it. I don't got nothing else.
Off to the lacrosse season, I guess. I mean,
yeah, this is an impromptu show too. I was just going to see how long it took Joe to text me and ask me if we were doing anything today. Because, no one wants to come here and talk about 2 losses. 2 close losses.
No. I was hoping we were going to be able to talk about Syracuse lacrosse beating Maryland, but
I mean, at least we'd have something to hang our hats on.
Yeah, they look good the first 3 games. Maryland's a good team, but I think, honestly, the way that we play, and I don't know how much you watched that Maryland game, but that second half, it was raining, so it wasn't really the best environment for the way that Syracuse offensively plays. Let's just put it that way.
Well, my son comes in, starts talking after work. He starts talking about Syracuse loss, and we talk for a couple minutes before I realize he's talking about lacrosse, and he realizes I'm talking about basketball. So,
sure, that was a confusing conversation.
I was like, oh, what is he talking about? Like, so then I was like, oh, you're talking about the lacrosse game, yeah, I know. Well, I was more pissed about that lacrosse game than I was the UNC Syracuse game, basketball game. You know what I mean? Because, like, you're ranked 2. You got a legit shot. This team's nasty. I mean, Spallina's, like, doubled what his performance strength over the last year. I mean, I feel like the dude's unstoppable. I don't know what else to say. You know what I'm saying? If anyone deserves a 22, it's Spallina. You know, right? So those players don't come that often. You know, he struggled his first year. You know, I think he was pretty good last year, and he's already a junior, right? So it's crazy. Is he a junior? Yeah. So, you know, and he's nasty. He had 10 goals. He had 10 points the other day. 5 assists, 5 goals against Vermont.
Yep.
So he's nasty, dude.
Yeah, they got some good players.
And he's not like, he's just tricky, bro. He's a magician, you know?
Very good passer, too.
Yeah, good pass. Yeah, yes. He's a great passer. He's a great shooter. I mean, that's like, that's the whole package in lacrosse. You know what I'm saying? Is really, that's it. You can do both of those things as good as Spallina can. You're going to be awesome. So, anyways, we have a lot of lacrosse left, and no doubt to me that this is a playoff team. So, you know, I think Notre Dame is going to be the team again to beat, and Duke's not that great this year. So who the hell they lose against? Nobody like yesterday. But Duke's not that great this year. You know, we kind of struggled with Duke the past couple years, so I don't know. We'll see. It'll be fun. It's at least something to get to enjoy. I feel like before, you know, the lull in the sports really for the most part going into football. So, because isn't the tournament like May?
Memorial Day, I believe.
Yeah, it is. It's Memorial Day weekend. That's right. Yep. So, you know, you're heading into, that's the last thing before summer hits, where, you know, Syracuse sports really, I mean, I know those sports keep going and there's other things, but we talk about the big 3, and yeah, that's the last one to finish up. All right. That's going to do it. We're done here. If you're still listening, we appreciate it. We appreciate it even if you're not listening right now, just so you know. All right. So,
yeah.
Tuesday, 7 o'clock, Pitt. We'll see what happens. Week off. We'll see you when we see you. Take care. Thanks again. Appreciate y'all. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
Peace.